Welcome to Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support for when the divorce process has finished. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics related to post-divorce. Together, we'll explore the emotional, financial, and legal aspects of life after divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello and welcome to the Breaking Ties interview series where we talk with a professional who assists those getting through and moving on from the divorce process. And really, we're just looking to answer some of those common questions you might have. Today, we're actually going to focus this week's episode on after divorce a lot of times and dating. So I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And with me today is Patti Warsaski. And Patti is a dating coach and the owner of A-Game Dating Coaching for Men and Women. This is going to be a fun week, I think. I think we're going to get a lot of great information. Welcome to the podcast, Patti.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me on here.
So for our listeners, just a little background. I've known Patti for a long time, and Patti was my dating coach after I got divorced. And I am still with my girlfriend, and we're having a great time as we've both moved on from a divorce. So I can't say enough about Patti and your service, and I appreciate you, Patti.
Thank you. You were very fun to work with.
So when we look at some of these post-divorce dating things, I know I've gotten the questions, and I know a lot of people have questions on, how do I know if I'm really just ready to start dating again after the divorce process? And so what do you got for us?
So that's one of those things that there's no one size fits all answer to. Everybody processes their divorce so differently. Some people have even compared it to a death where they'll say, I didn't know it was coming, like an unexpected death. And so it takes them a little more time to digest what's happened, and they kind of have to get through like a mourning process. Other people who may have initiated the divorce are clearly very happy to move on. They just want to go on with it. But I think one of the worst things that anybody can do is feel peer pressure to date too soon. Friends and loved ones are so well-meaning, and they want to get you back out there because they want to see you happy, but it's not always the right timing. So it really goes down to, listen to your gut on it. If you really feel like you're just not there yet, whether you need that time to process or mourn, if you will, or just time to organize your life again. A lot of times people come out of divorce, they're no longer living in the same house. You, of all people, know their finances are greatly affected. So they need time to regroup. So the right time to date after divorce is when it feels like the right time. And the best way to put off kind of those well-meaning friends and family is to just let them know that you are really trying to just become your best self before you get back out there again. And I think everyone kind of accepts that answer. They understand that. So they back off a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, there isn't really a timetable, and you shouldn't be pushed into a timetable because dating too soon can actually have other consequences.
Or even pushing yourself into a timetable, thinking that I want to move on from the past, so I'm going to start my future. Because it's just kind of a recipe for disaster. You'll just be pairing up with the wrong people.
Yeah, exactly. So as we're looking to, kind of rebuild ourselves after the divorce process and becoming single again, what are some tips for building self-confidence, before you put yourself back out there, and get it back into the dating scene?
Oh, I think one of the greatest things that you can do to build self-confidence is to do a self-evaluation. And I know that might sound initially like that's really harsh because, for women, we look in the mirror and we say, oh, too many pounds here, or I don't like this. But not a self-evaluation in a negative way, a self-evaluation in a really, really positive way. Look at yourself and kind of think about what you bring to the table. Know what you bring to the table. I think if you don't go into it knowing what you have to offer, you won't have that confidence to put that out there, whether it be in an online bio or in a chat or in an in-person meeting. confidence is sexy, right? Everybody says that. It's been said forever and ever. So in order to get yourself to that point where you're showing an appeal to another person, you've got to be comfortable in your own skin. And I always have said, and I'm sure I said it to you as well, you cannot be half of something great if you are not whole with yourself. So it's important to just do that self-evaluation. Think about the things that make you happiest. Think about the things you like about yourself. Think about the things that you know that another person would look at you and appreciate, whether it's you're a kind person or a person that doesn't like conflict and drama, or a person that is a giving person. One of the things I can do and recommend, and I'm sure everybody's heard of the book, The 5 Love Languages, I would say take a minute and read that book, because a lot of times when we've been in long-term relationships or marriages, we've settled in over the years, maybe got married when we were in our late teens or 20s, and of course you evolve with age, but the last time you really thought about who you were to another person was maybe when you were 20 or 25. Mm-hmm. So look at who you are today. Look at how much you've grown today. Look at the things that you now can offer another person through life experiences, through what you see that you want to give into a relationship because it's what you want back from a relationship. So self-evaluate. And when you see that you have more positives than negatives, we all beat ourselves up. But when you realize you have more positives than negatives, that pros list is far longer than that cons list. Live by that pros list. Know yourself by that pros list. Identify yourself by that pros list. And let other people pick up that vibe off of you. Pick up that really like, hey, I know I'm this, that, or the other.
All right. Well, that is great stuff there, Patti. I resonate a lot with that. I think that piece in there where you were talking about how you got to be a whole for yourself in order to be a half with somebody else. And some of that self-confidence just comes from being independent and working through your processes as a newly single person and getting comfortable with who you are again. So I think that was fantastic information. So this concludes our first day of the interview. You're going to want to join us tomorrow as we continue our discussion on dating and divorce. Patti and I would like to thank you for joining us today on the Breaking Ties interview series. Should you have any questions for Patti, you can find her contact information in the description. I'm going to have it there. So reach out to her. She's always happy to help. Remember, divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And we will see you tomorrow. Take care.
We want to thank you for listening to this episode of Breaking Ties, a new you after divorce with Mike Fulkerson. For questions, please reach out to Mike via email in the description or give him a shout at 630-444-1410. Remember to subscribe, like, and follow.